Greetings to everyone. Big honor and somehow pleasure to be a participant of great meetings of this level. First of all, I want to start just from the little beginning, from the story, to let you know a bit better about what we're doing, who I am. I'm a deputy commander of the National Guard's Ukraine Brigade, Azov. Yeah. Our unit was defending Mariupol alongside with other neighboring units for 86 days. We've been fighting against overwhelming enemy firepower, enemy aircrafts, enemy personnel, armored units. They've been overpassing us in all accounts, but not in all. Actually, they were never as motivated and as dedicated as we are. And right now, a lot of Ukrainians are forced to be soldiers, forced to be on the front lines. They never chose this path. They never wanted to be soldiers. And 1 year ago, a lot of hundreds of thousands of people in Ukraine would not just imagine that during these days, they might be soldiers. When the battle has started, as formally said, there's no turning back. And we've been fighting 86 days in total isolation, in encirclement, and to the nearest forces of Ukrainian army, it was almost 100 kilometers. But this story is not about combat actions, but it's mostly about the human rights and humanitarian questions. But my opinion and my point of view as a military person, that's the solution to the humanitarian problems. It lies on the battlefield. I will not tie the blanket too much on the combat aspects, because it's for the other types of meetings. But we heard a lot of words today about the Russian atrocities that they've been doing to the civilians, about mass graves, about rape, plunder, about deporting of children, about deporting of regular civilians, about filtration camps that are also seen, about inmates in captivity, the prisoners of war who also treated far from ideal, I might say. And these are just the top of the iceberg. These are just the things that we can investigate. These are just the things that are unveiled, uncovered, because we are recapturing our territories. Regarding the Izum, Liman, Kharkiv region, regarding the Kherson region on the south of Ukraine, you should know that without liberation of Ukrainian territories, 80%, maybe much more percent of their atrocities and crimes will still be uncovered, undiscovered, unveiled, and uninvestigated. And we cannot allow that. We cannot allow that to happen. For the last year, Ukraine, we became a spearhead of the world fight against the tyranny, against the oppression, against the collective evil. And the world somehow right now is united and somehow is separated between. You can support. There are sides in this war. Actually, and. But it mostly not my sphere of competition, because I'm a military person. I know what I do, and I know what I should not do. I'm a guest in this world, all these events, meetings. For the last couple of months, I became a rather often participant of the events like this. But in a couple of days, I will return to my battlefield, to my world. Where our Ukrainians are struggling each day. First of all, we started this somehow testimony, just about to show my story, but it's just my story. There will be a couple of more other stories by other speakers, but you should know that there are hundreds of thousands of stories that cannot be told, and they will not be told, because these people are silent. These people are dead. These people are under Russian captivity, in Russian captivity. They are under the occupation on still unliberated territories. And I might say again, the only solution to humanitarian and human rights problem lies on the battlefields, because you know how it works. The one thing that's happened to Ukraine, that we became a battlefield again, like hundreds of years ago, like dozens of years ago in the previous wars. But this war is like, it's much worse. Comparing to the classic maneuverable wars of third generation in 20th century, we can stream it online. Yeah, and you know, we also been somehow streaming online the combat actions in Mariupol, and that's how the world knew about what is happening. What happened in Mariupol and in other cities is actually basically a genocide. We've seen this in the Russian tactics, military tactics. It's not just about the recent bombardments of residential buildings. It's not just about the recent attacks on the civilian infrastructure, or not just about vicious attacks with long-range cruise missiles for the civilian objects. Yeah, because in Mariupol and in Kharkiv, we seen it's like a part of military tactics of the ground forces. Because like if they are putting their strategic goal to destroy our infrastructure, that's the one point. But if they are putting other goal to destroy houses of people where they live, that's basically a different point. We've seen that in tactics in Mariupol when they've been performing indiscriminate bombings on the civilian houses. They also been doing this in Kupiansk, in Kharkiv, in many other cities. But in Mariupol, I witnessed this with my own eyes. Actually one eye, yeah. The other one is artificial. Not just the bombardments, rocket strikes, multiple launch rocket systems, naval artillery, naval rockets, all this barrage of arms dropped on the civilian buildings. And tens of thousands of people died there, and these human rights violations, like severe human rights violations, cannot be still investigated properly, as well as the other atrocious crimes committed by the Russians regarding the inmates in captivity, the prisoners of war. For example, the terroristic act that happened in Olenivka prison on the July 29th cannot be properly investigated because Russians are not letting in the delegation of the proper organs to investigate that. Yeah, and what happened back then, most of you probably know, but a couple of hundreds people were transferred from one barrack to another one, and the barrack was basically blown up, exploded from inside. People basically died in their sleep peacefully. Me as a prisoner of war, I know how it feels, because Russian captivity is not just it's not what you think. It's not still a place for a vacation after a long period of enduring battle. It's the have you ever seen the movies about Gulag? Yeah. Well, just imagine that, but a bit worse. Yeah, because we've been frequently asking about the conditions, how it was there, how do we felt. But it varies from the places where you are upholding. It varies from the shifts that are taking you inside. It varies from how sadistic they might be, because the Russian fantasy about in this direction is honestly limitless. But Russians can do only two things good. They are shitty at everything. They can do only two things good. They can lie and try to intimidate. Just don't catch up on their lies, and just don't catch up on their intimidation, and everything will be fine. And also, right now, what I see that Russians challenged the world order of collective defense, yeah, of civilized agreements, of all these things that we really get used to, all these things that makes our lives better, because we're negotiating, we're talking, we're communicating, and we're making things better. They challenged that not just 1 year ago, they challenged that 9 years ago, well, exactly 9 years ago, when they started the invasion and occupation of Crimea. And this is when everything started. But they've been preparing the grounds for this for many decades before, and the world was a bit hesitant I guess we were hesitant. We were not so decisive, not so resilient, not so determined as we are right now. Because right now, I see that a lot of good people in the world were trying to cooperate, we're trying to break through the walls. Yeah, we're establishing new mechanisms, we're establishing new parts of like how we should live in this world. Yeah, and this is rather good feeling. But it's a bittersweet feeling because every day when we are like talking, yeah, every day of hesitation costs lives. Every minute of hesitation costs lives. I want to remind that, like I've been telling this in my streams from the Azovstal plant, nothing changed since then. Nothing changed. The hesitation means lives. The hesitation and the time of waiting while we are just preparing, organizing something, yeah, this means that people are still holding in captivity. People are still under occupation. And only God knows what happens to them. Because, as I said before, there are hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of stories that will not be heard by us. Because these people are silent. These stories should not ever been happen. Because, as I said, Ukrainians been forced to become soldiers. But, you know, it's very good. And I'm proud to say that we are not just soldiers, we are a warrior nation. And thanks God, like we have like our pride and your support of free world. And a lot of words already been told by the officials, by the people who are in charge, yeah. And you know, for me as the like a relatively lesser man, yeah, because like I'm just the front page of my kind, yeah. I present my unit and my country, and I'm proud of it. I'm proud to be here, and I'm very happy to be here actually. And this happened only because, like, after my captivity in Russian prison in Moscow in solitary chamber, I was released. I was released by the collective actions of Ukrainian government, the president's office, yeah, the GUR intelligence agency, the coordination staff, yeah, that representatives are also here present today. Yeah, and I want to say great thanks to all these people who are involved in this process, because otherwise I will not be sitting here talking with you and, you know, being in this wonderful city, in this wonderful country, and have an ability to return to my wonderful country. So, as the conclusion, I will finish with only one well-known word as for the triumph of evil, the only thing is necessary is the good men do nothing. Thank you.